Brought to you in association with Grendel Press. This is Werewolf the Podcast, a serial killer drama.
In this week's episode, we find out about Fenrir, the wolf soul, and why he owes one to the devil, or two, or possibly three. Please check out Odin Apparel if you want some of our merch. Please check out Grendel Press, absolutely amazing publishers of great horror. So, there's links down in the description-y bit. And more than anything, just enjoy your life, or, you could subscribe to us on Spotify or something. That'd be quite nice. Anyway, bye!
Fenrir Wolf Soul. Long ago, when my tribe first split their souls from their own physical bodies, the wolves who gave themselves did so under an oath that bound them for eternity. Maybe if we'd known that then, what we know now, we might not have bothered, to save ourselves and do this painful and repeated grief thing. Our gift was not carelessly tossed to humankind, no, it was a covenant of blood and sorrow. The covenant decreed three things. First, choice. A wolf soul cannot be forced into flesh. It may only bind with a mortal whose spirit rings true with its own. The wolf sees not only what a person is, but what they may become. A coward might one day grow into courage, just as a brave man might, rot into cruelty. The wolf must choose carefully of its human skin, because a great affinity grows between us, and that hurts once it's broken. Sometimes it has to be broken, sometimes it is broken. This leads to second part of covenant. Second, patience. A wolf soul's eternal, but the flesh it borrows isn't. Although we bind the human, it grows only to the age of the corresponding wolf with its sort of level of maturity. I'll not lower myself to say its age in dog years because I'm no dog, but wolves do not live as long as men. So even a wolf of 5 winters is thought to be middle-aged, and the human it haunts will also stop aging at that point. It will become immortal, but every host will one day fall or be left behind, and when the soul departs it must rest and wander, resisting the hunger to bind again with another human until it has tasted the passage of years. The covenant demands this restraint because a human who does not suit us and is left fails quickly. I must admit in the past I didn't care, but each one leaves a small scar as a tiny part of themselves, an irritation of the mind, a niggle, and those niggles build up over years. Now I wait and choose well. It's just less annoying that way. And finally, third part, the mourning. For every fitting bond, a terrible price. When a wolf leaves its host, the human shell withers and dies, robbed of the soul fire that kept it strong. I've been with humans for a few years. I've been with them for centuries. They're not immortal, they do die. Sometimes even the combined powers of us are not enough to overcome injury or accident. Additionally, there are those we choose to leave and those who ask to leave. To love an host and then abandon them is no small cruelty. To love a host and then have them abandon you is it's like a small death, I suppose. Some I mourn for years, some for centuries. The longer the bond, the deeper the grief, and some I've never really, So it is that centuries may pass without a new partner. The covenant binds me in a way, not chains of silver or sorcery, but of honour, choice and sorrow. I am a wolf at the end. My origin, there had been one wild winter in some mountains somewhere. I think it was Russia, from what I know now. But as I left well before area had been mapped, and I've really no idea. I've never tried to return me sen. There had been a pack of wolves and a pack of people, both starving, both hunting each other. Not a good situation for either of them. The top predators in an area will clash as their potential prey dwindles in numbers. But both humans and wolves were living on borrowed time. Each pack would eventually fail. Luckily, humans had a magic man they called Wolfstaff. He was strong in spells, and he was linked by family and weird to wild things. The people fell, and it was looking bleak. So as a last rite, Wolfstaff made strong magic. I think it was magic. By the evening light of a ripe full moon, the mighty shaman had the village take some of the local magic mushrooms. Maybe this is the reason why the idea of werewolf and full moon are linked. Why we are lunatics. Must admit, my mind does work clearer on those nights where he shines his glowing face fully. Although, I think I can just see better because of it. The mushrooms they took are called Fly Agaric mushrooms. You know, those you see in the face sitting on in fairy tale pictures. You know, the red ones with white dots, and they're magical enough for those who take them with no real reason or intention to use them as a tool to see things that they usually won't. The things that are actually really there. But I warn you, they're red for a reason. It's nature's warning sign for you poor, your poor weak human constitutions. They're very poisonous, if that is, if you don't prepare them properly. The only safe way to do this is they need to be processed through another creature. I know, sounds strange, yeah? Shaman would usually use reindeer for this purpose. Reindeer were kept and herded by people in this area, but by now, winter, the people and the wolves had devastated the numbers. There were none to use. The only animal the shaman had available for this filtering process was a wolf that they'd trapped the night before. Yeah, I know it sounds like utter bollocks. It sounds like utter bollocks to me too. But that story, the wolf ate mushrooms. He was, pretty hungry at the time, I should imagine. The shaman collected wolf's piss and then distributed it amongst a small band of villagers that were left. I often wondered about that task. He must have lost a finger or two, eh? Wolf staff was hoping that the gods, through this strange process, would grant someone an idea of how to get through a shitty situation in which they found themselves. I do realise that it does sound incredible. They were dying, but they decided to drink wolf wee. But I'm sure at this point you would have tried brushing your teeth with your own shit if you'd thought it had saved you. At least they would die off their faces on trippy stuff. It does not seem like it could have happened, do it? I mean, should it have happened at all? Think about it. Who was first person, to drink piss? Think about it. Who was first person to think, I know, we'll feed these poisonous mushrooms to that deer, then drink its wee? How did that happen? Humans are such fucking weirdos. Some of the things you guys do are not right. But hey, thanks something for you guys trying things like gargling piss, otherwise I won't be here. Humans never failed to amaze me well, you do make me feel uncomfortable with your actions. So wolf urine gave everyone a shared hallucination where they melded their minds with local pack. I don't know how it works. Humans during shared trip came to a deal where wolves would give their spirits to people. This way both packs would have a better chance to survive winter. So by some shamanic magic bollocks, the wolves released their souls so that they could combine with humans and become a joint force for survival. The deal seemed a bit one-sided at first. The wolves were sacrificed in a very bloody shamanic sort of proper religious rite. The wolf's spirits chose a human host from the humans on that day. The human the wolf's soul chose would eat the heart of the wolf that chose them, and they ate it raw too. That's proper, as humans find it really difficult to eat raw meat. Then there were a big feast, mostly a wolf with a side order of wolf and wolf to follow. I don't know, there may have been a cheese board at the end, who knows. The chosen humans all lived extraordinary lives. They also ate the other members of the tribe quite soon after. Why not? They were now werewolves. It seemed a little unfair that the wolves sacrificed themselves, but as always, the wolf souls had been devious in this bloody deal. The wolf spirit would become immortal, while the human would stay under control at wolf. If the wolf wanted to stay with human, then the human would be timeless too. As I've said before, they would age to a point where wolf felt comfortable and remain at that age until the wolf wanted out of the relationship or the host human died. The wolves were independent but able to bind with humans when they needed. They could be fully independent if they wished, but this would mean a pretty lonely life. They tried to take on humans from the same tribe, but would have to be careful who they chose. The wolves would then be passed on from human to human for all time. Not a bad deal when you think about it in those terms. Fortunately, the wolves and humans worked it out, and the human band survived, becoming the first tribe of werewolves that ever existed. The wolf souls could always move on and find a fresh person when they wanted to. The soul would find the best human mind that would match their own. This would mean that relationship would be more likely to be successful. Why do I share all this unwanted knowledge with you, you wonder? Well, it's the prelude to why I'm here on this war-torn bit of turf at this time.
War and violence attract me. I do not know why, really, but there's something visceral and fascinating in energy at war. All emotions are felt at extremis. I don't eat no food, so I feed off this energy, I think, in a way. Not that I need it. I don't know what keeps me going, to be honest. I consume nothing. It's an empty part of being something like me sen. So here I am at 4 of some new offensive, a new war beckons. I thought I'd found my way here on my own, but not so. She is here, and of course she is. This place will bring out worst in men, so she is here for worst in men. We meet every now and again. She's part of this new Christian fangled religion thing. I know it's probably not new to you, and you probably understand it, but I really don't get it. I spent a lot of time in Northlands bounced leader of the chief of the northern tribes. He was a right vicious and brutal bastard. He lacked tenderness and craved power, and together we found it. His religion made sense to me. It had many gods, and they were as foolish as people they stood over. The stories were powerful and full of heroic deeds. Men were judged by great deeds, not by being meek and mild for some future benefit. I don't understand why these Christian people don't live for now. They live for a promise of a better future instead of just simply living. I think it right strange. It's not my call, though I have to tell you, I've been part of some right horrific deeds in the name of their god. He don't seem to be afraid of getting his people involved in bloody acts. I don't understand it, but I've not met him, so I can never judge someone or something until I've met them and spoken to him myself. Maybe someday in the future it'll happen. I met his messenger though, yeah, Gabriel. Briefly, he is, don't know, bit of a primping fop of a thing. It does not strike me as thing that the greatest good would, see as their second in command. Though who am I to judge? I mean, I'm not a god. Thank fuck. I've met her. She is something different. She reminds me of Loki from sagas. She's the punisher of evildoers. She is a tempter, although she never makes or forces people to do things she calls sins. She does, however, allow them to happen and tempt humans to do so. Wonder if she enjoys her job. Oh, you want to know why I owe her? Alright then. Why the devil can crook a finger and I can come sniffing like some chained cur. Alright then, pull your seats up, sit close. But don't think less of me after, because if you'd stood in my place, you'd have come to a real too. It was first winter, the one where everything bled into ice and silence, I know. We'd bound ourselves to humans, aye, but binding didn't fill bellies, Children wasted, ribs poked through skin. I could feel the hollow in me gut like a fire eating me from inside out. Humans prayed to the sky gods and begged their ancestors and rattled bones. Nothing came back, just silence. But when I howled, something answered. It wasn't Moon, though she looked fat and ripe that night. No, it were her. She slipped in on Silver Light, not a goddess, not a saint, but the Lady of Ash. She smelled her charred feathers and roses rotting in the snow, and she whispered,
"You want prey, Wolf? I'll give you more than prey. I'll give you blood enough to glut yourself for centuries. But you will owe me."
And what did I do? I said yeah, of course. I said yeah. Better to hunt and live than starve, noble and dead. That night the herds came down from the mountain like they'd lost their wits. Deer, boar, even elk crashing through snow straight into our jaws. I fed. We all fed, and I've been feeding ever since. On war, on slaughter, on fields where men paint the earth red. You think I come to these battlefronts for sport? No. It's her gift. Blood calls me like meat hung in smoke. But it didn't end there. See, Covenant had rules. Choice, patience, mourning, shackles dressed up as honour. And I thought myself stronger than them. I was Fenrir, mightiest at pact. Why should grief bind me? Why should I be patient? Why should I wait centuries to claim a new host if I want flesh now? So I howled again. I howled at the moon. To split Covenant, to tear free from my brother's chains. And the moon answered, not at all. But she did. She came back with the same voice like velvet cut in glass.
You would be free of law, Wolf? You would stand apart, unbound?
I said yes. I was proud, foolish, hungry for more, and she touched me. Just once. Right here in that. And ever since,
There's a mark in me. A crack. The covenant still holds, but it slips around me like an ill-fitted armour. My brothers and sisters mourn as honour demands. I mourn as little as I please. They rest, they wait. I hunger, I hunt. That's the debt. Not silver chains, not holy fire, just a whisper in the marrow. When she calls, I come because I said yes twice, once for the meal, once for the pride. And I'll tell you something else. You think me cursed, you believe me broken, you're wrong. Every time I tear a man open and taste the fear boiling off him, I thank her, because hunger and pride, those are the only truths that never die. You want to know if I'll ever pay her back? If the tally will be wiped clean? Ha! No one ever pays her back. Not really. That's the joke. She deals in promises the way gamblers deal in cards and every hand's already marked. But I've thought on it, aye. Thought long and hard across centuries, chewing the bone of it till me teeth ached. How do you outwit the bright serpent? How do you unshackle yourself from a debt-owed lady of chains? There are only two paths I can see. One is path of patience. Outlast her. Wolves are old, but I think she is older. Still, even fire burns itself out if you starve it of air. Maybe one day the world forgets her, and without names or prayers or wicked whispers to feed on, she fades. And if she fades, then her hook slip free of me. Maybe. Or maybe she just waits in dark, grinning, and I'm a fool thinking myself free. Probably. The other way is the wolf's way. Trickster. Bite the hand that fed me, sink me teeth so deep that she bleeds stars. You see, I owe her a favour. Not obedience, not fealty, and a favour can be twisted, aye. Favour is a slippery word. Maybe I can give her what she asked for, but not in where she want. Maybe I can find a way to make the payment poison in her own throat. Will it ever end? Don't ask me that, cub. I've walked too long under her shadow to believe in endings. Every pact is another snare, every promise another chain, but listen well. Even chains rust, even the devil bleeds. And if the day comes when I can put my jaws round her throat, debt or no debt, covenant or no covenant, I'll tear it fucking free. Until then, I watch, I wait, I play loyal beast when I must, but inside, I'm sharpening me fucking teeth.
Brought to you in association with Grendel Press. This is Werewolf the Podcast, a serial killer drama.